There's a lot of people out there that,
Yep.
that they're just cruising.
Yeah.
And life's okay.
Yep.
It's pretty good. But they don't know what they can actually achieve if they actually set a few goals for themselves, chunked it down into actionable steps that they can take tomorrow and the day after, worked out what was holding him back, and then just took action. If he's thinking he can earn 100,000, he's obviously worked out that, he can achieve that. So I said, mate, you don't need life coaching if that's all you want to achieve. I said, what if you could achieve 300, 400,000? And he's like, wow, yeah, that would be really inspiring.
So welcome everyone to the Jim's podcast today, and we've got an exciting new division on board, which is Jim's Life Coaching, which you may have seen Sue before, and she's already getting some great results with franchisees, franchisors and clients. And we've got your first franchisee, which is James. So James has just joined Jim's Life Coaching. Was it in August?
Mid-August,
Mid-August. So first, let's start off with about the division itself. So the services you provide, what do you do for people?
Yeah, so we really help people get really clear on their goals and then understand what's stopping them. So really understand where they want to go, where they are now, not just in terms of results, but also who they are now and what's held them back from achieving what they've really wanted to achieve in life. And often they don't really know, or they don't really know what their goals are. So they're sort of a bit directionless. So we help them get real good clarity on that and then find out what's stopping them and then help them make big shifts in their life in terms of becoming the person that can actually achieve those goals.
Yeah.
So it's really transformational work.
And do you want to just talk a bit about your background? So what's your background? Are you from an ex-corporate, or where do you come from?
Ex-corporate.
Yep.
Yeah, so 28 years in corporate in fast-moving consumer goods.
Yep.
So my background, I'm an engineer, and worked for a big confectionery company for about 25 years, and did engineering, operations, product development, quality management, and really enjoyed that for most of my career. But the main thing I really loved about that, leading in that sort of space, is working with people and, coaching and developing them and helping them understand, what they're capable of and helping them realise their potential.
So then how did you get involved in this? Because obviously you've got the ex-corporate career and you've done a shift somewhere. So how did you come to do what you're doing? Well,
I think, like many people, that have a long career, they sort of get, looking for new challenges. And I guess I always wanted to find a way to, get off the rat wheel, so to speak, and do my own thing. And so have a bit of, control over my own destiny. And so business was something that I was really interested in. And, obviously something also that offered me a bit of flexibility in terms of when I worked and where I worked. Because often working for a corporate, you especially where I was, you're on late night calls over to overseas with other countries, company in other countries, working late nights, having to commute into Melbourne a couple of days a week, maybe 3 days a week at times, and that's a lot of life burnt up. And so I wanted the ability to work when I wanted to work on my own terms.
Yeah, and then how did you come to discover life coaching? Because obviously you would have probably been looking for things to do, as you're saying before, your burnout.
Yeah.
Was it just something you think, I like coaching people, that's what I'm really strong at, and then this is what I can do to do a business out of it?
Yeah, well, I finished up my last role earlier this year, and I thought, okay, I hit 50 this year, and so I was thinking, what am I going to do for my second lap? That's more meaningful and can make a better difference. And so I actually got some coaching. So I got a fantastic coach, g'day Michael, and he helped me just be really clear on, I guess, what it is that I do and what I really love to do. And I wanted to find something that allowed me to do more of that more often. And so the usual engineer, I went through a whole big decision matrix and worked out what I really was passionate about, and I had all these different options. And slowly but surely, I eliminated the ones that just didn't feel right to me, didn't really hit all my values. And I was training as a life coach. I got some training, and then I really love DIY. So I do my own renovations. I've actually got a barbecue wall behind my barbecue, similar to that, actually, that I did. And so I really enjoyed that. So I was looking at franchises in renovations, but I also got on an excavator at one time. So I was looking into Jim's Diggers.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I was investigating Jim's Diggers, and then I was just curious. And so I looked down the list of divisions, and obviously there's a lot of divisions, and I saw life coaching there, and I'm like, wow, I'm interested in a franchise, and Jim's was great because it's got a fantastic brand. I'm training as a life coach separately because I was potentially going to start my own business in that way. And, I thought, well, the power of the Jim's brand to get my name out there and get noticed, etc., combined with a passion that I've got, hell, that's a fantastic choice.
And the great thing here about what you said then is you use this service yourself. So you've used life coaching yourself, and you had a massive impact on you, obviously, and you thought, I want to do this for other people. So
correct.
What was it about the services that you got from your coach, Michael? Because a lot of people, I think, they sort of, I don't know, my sort of sense is they just go, life coach, they don't understand it. I think wishy-washy, just, they don't know what's involved with it. But how did it really, help you? What can you just outline for people, first of all, why you sought that out, but also the value you got from it?
Yeah. I guess, I did it because I guess I wasn't really clear on what I wanted to do next. And so that service really helps in that way. It helps people, that are, I guess, transitioning in careers to go, well, what do you want to do next? And so often people just jump straight back into doing the same thing that they've always done. And I think as a result of that, they continue to not be happy. And so I saw it as a great opportunity to really hit the reset and go back to first principles and go, okay, well, what do I actually really want to do for the next phase of my career? And so, life coaches help people like that. It's not necessarily that, we only help people that are stuck and struggling and really having challenges in life. We help people that are going really well, but they know they can do more. They can go to the next level, but they just don't know how, or they're getting in their own way. And so life coaches help you firstly get really clear on your goals and really passionate about them. Because if you're not passionate about your goals and they're not big enough, or hear all the time under promise and over deliver, that's not going to inspire you when it gets hard. It's not going to make you get up when you fall down and learn from it and go again. You probably just end up getting up and going, oh, I'm not going to try that again because that was painful, and sort of you sort of back away from it. But if you've got inspiring goals, then it's something that you just every day you wake up and go, oh yeah, I'm going to get after this. And so that's what Michael helped me do, be really clear on what I wanted out of life, my life, in the next phase, and then help me work out, okay, well, what are my options to do that? So, and what's been holding me back from making that decision for all these years, because I was probably thinking about it for, 5 years before that.
Yeah.
And he helped me to work out, okay, well, what's been getting in my own way? And it's me.
Yeah.
And that's quite often what we see is that people have this view of themselves that, oh, they're not the person that would do that, start your own business, or I'm not someone who's good at sales or public speaking, as an example. My one was also, besides all of those, things like it's not just business, it's health as well, relationships, love, lifestyle, friendships. So we help people in all those areas. And for me, one of the ones was, I've always said I'm not a runner, but my health and fitness is really important to me, especially as I get older. And I sort of sat back and thought, well, why do I keep saying I'm not a runner? I used to actually make the excuse up, oh yeah, I only run if something's chasing me, and it was probably because I didn't want to fail. I didn't want to try it and then sort of work out that I was no good at it or whatever. So I just decided I was going to run, and I started. And I think life coaches help you believe in yourself and believe that anything that you try is possible. And then give you the support and accountability. Sometimes you just need somebody to hold you accountable.
Yeah, you need some. Yeah, I think the accountability is a big thing as well. Everyone needs to be more accountable, but also the helping people realise their potential or what they can actually achieve, and helping them get across that. You do need someone to help you, because it's very hard to be self-motivated. Some people are. There's a small percentage who can be really self-motivated, but I think most people do need that person, and it can be quite daunting telling your friends or your best friend, or what it can be, I reckon, a little bit embarrassing. So having someone like you who's completely neutral and your sole focus is getting them to do that, that's how you build your reputation. It's a no-brainer. And I think everything you outlined before, everyone who'd be watching or listening to this would have some area in their life where they can improve, and just generally left along to themselves, or they go to YouTube and that's it. There's no accountability. There's no one they can really talk to about it. It just sounds like it's a service where everyone, I think, could use this in some regard.
Yeah. A lot of times people they know what they need to improve.
Yeah.
And look, there's endless strategies available, right? Like you can go to YouTube University and find out anything, on how to lose weight, learn a new skill, start a new business, etc. So it's not lack of strategies that people have. It's usually that they either don't have the goals, or they don't know how to get going and how to keep going, or they're holding themselves back, so they're worried about failure, so they procrastinate, and they never make a decision.
Yep.
And I think we help people work through it and identify, okay, what's holding you back, but then more importantly, it's helping them change. And it's not something that's a quick fix. A lot of the things that are holding people back are things like self-beliefs.
Yep.
Self-image,
Limiting
beliefs. Yeah. We always say that you can never outperform, your self-image. And until you actually change that, you can go on, let's say you're on a health kick, right? Like how many people out there, including me in the past, have joined a gym, paid for a year-long membership and turned up for the first 2 weeks, because they haven't changed. They might have changed the behaviour, tried to change the behaviour, but they haven't changed their own beliefs about themselves in terms of being a person who is fit, or someone who can lose weight or whatever, and we help them change that.
Yeah, because it sounds like it's just like when you listen to how you say it, sounds like everyone could use that. There's not a person who could not use this in some regard. So you mentioned about limiting self-beliefs, and how do you go about changing that? Because it could be like 40 to 50 years where someone's had this own limited self-belief about themselves, or maybe self-image, they've got lower self-esteem or something like that. How do you go about changing that in people?
Well, you've got to sort of sit back and understand, how did it form in the first place? And as you said, a lot of people are still living with the same beliefs that they had since they were children. And that's when they were formed. Our beliefs, our self-beliefs, our self-image, our limiting beliefs, etc., were formed when we were young, in what we call the imprint phase, from birth to, say, 7 years old. And we're just soaking it up from the environment and the people that are around us. And we're sort of seeing how they respond to conflict, or how they treat, earning money or relationships, etc. And so you get programmed, and so you start like a clean slate, but then you sort of get shaped by the people around you and the environment and the experiences that you have. And it's not to say that those beliefs right now for you aren't true. They are real, and they've formed you as the person that you are today. But what people don't understand is that they can change them in exactly the same way that they were formed. And that's through, firstly, awareness and understanding that you can actually change and choose to be different. And then it's through repetition. So we work with awareness, and then we help people through exercises, activities that we get them to do in our programs, to do daily exercises, to really embed the new beliefs that they need to have. And typically those beliefs are, what's your limiting beliefs? And how is it holding you back from achieving your goals? And then what's the qualities of the person that can achieve the goals that are needed to actually achieve those goals? And then we help you make the shift over time, and with repetition and accountability and coaching, we help them make that shift.
Can you give an example of an exercise? So I'd love to know just an example. You have to give all your secrets away, but what's an example of like an exercise that someone could do? So let's say they have a limited self-belief about something. You've identified the root cause. How would you get them to work on it, maybe with an example?
Yep. So as an example, in one of our lessons, we call it's the power of responsibility in one of our lessons. And we get people to think about a situation that isn't getting the results that they really want. Right? So that, they might have, have the intention to, have a great relationship with their partner, but it's not going very well, as an example. And we get them to think about that situation in real detail. And think about, what are you doing? What are you feeling? And what are you thinking? All right? And so think about that situation, and then think about how you'd like it to be. All right? So, and then we get them to write it out in the complete opposite of what they've just written about why it's not working. Because usually it's because you're getting in the way. And you can only change you, right? At the end of the day, you can only change you as in terms of what you do, the way you think, and the way you feel. You can't change other people. But what we find is that when people change what they're doing and how they show up, other people respond to that differently than maybe they did before. And so in that situation I talked about before, think about how you would like it to become. So instead of, you get home, the air's thick with tension, you respond with a grunt, and you feel rejected or no attention given to you, and as a result you close the door, get up off from the dinner table, close the door and walk out. Okay, how would you like it to be? All right, I want to get home, I want to feel that I'm appreciated when I get home. We're going to have a cuddle, and we're going to sit on the couch and watch Netflix. And so then we get to think about, okay, what behaviours are you actually exhibiting? And so breaking it down and go, okay, I get home, I say, hey, grunt myself. Okay, what's the complete opposite of that? Oh, I'm going to get home and I'm going to say, hey, honey, how are you? Give you a kiss. So I'm going to initiate. All right, so you can only put out what you can change. So you put that out, and you'll see a different response. And so you'll feel better then when you walk home, come home, and you act differently and do something differently, and you'll find that over time that situation changes. And I think people, they have these stories going on in their head about what a situation or a relationship or an interaction is going to be like, and they take that energy about what they expect the situation to be into it, and then as a result that energy is responded back in kind. And so if they change the energy and bring more positivity and more energy into the situation, a higher level of energy, high frequency, then that will attract more positivity back.
That's great. It's a great example, really good example. And I was going to say as well, then the accountability side of it. So how does it work in accountability with you? Is it more every week you're just checking in, or how does the accountability piece work with your coaching programs?
Yeah, so we're not a what do they call it? One of those boot camp type
drill sergeant
coaches, drill sergeants, etc. But every week we start every session with rate your study. So we're giving exercises that people do every day, and we say on a scale of 1 to 10, how did you go? And most people are really honest, and it could be 5, could be 8, but wherever you are, it's about you understanding yourself, how you've gone, and we ask, so what's one thing you could do differently in the next week to improve that? Because that if you put the work in, you're going to get the outcomes out. You only get out what you put in at the end of the day. And if you've come to us for coaching, it's because you've realised that you can't do it yourself. So you need to do the work if you want any changes to occur. And so that's one. And then we ask them, so what's your win of the week? So get people to think about more of the positive things that have happened, because that's one big aspect in life coaching and coaching, and with mindset, is that people often get stuck in this cycle of negativity and worry.
Yeah.
And they're thinking about all the things that have gone wrong and what they could have done better or what somebody else did, etc. And they forget about all the good things that have happened. And so we want to bring absolute focus to that and start to shift a person's brain chemistry, if you like, to focus on more positives. So win of the week's important, and sometimes it's just a little win. Somebody might have their daughter, and they're trying to work on their relationship with their daughter. Their daughter might have come to them for some advice. That's a massive win for somebody who's working on that space. Or another client of mine, he ran a marathon on the weekend, and had a fantastic event, and came in on his goals, etc. And big win, for something that he was really passionate about. It's through that we sort of hold people accountable and get them to think about how they could improve more.
I think it's an absolute. It's a great service, and if people listening to this still, it means they're interested, and I'm sure everyone lives inside their own head. I don't think there's one person who would have that mindset of just being positive all the time, but we'd all want to be that way.
Yeah.
But as you said, we're so conditioned to have all the anxiousness and the negativity, especially corporate workers, but franchisees or small business owners in general as well. But that mindset shift, when you say changing the brain chemistry, Like, is that just something where every week is it affirmations, or how do you go about changing that in someone? I know it could take a few of the secrets here, but how did you go about changing that mind? Because I think it's really, really important. I don't think a lot of people working on it enough, and I think it's a massive, as Sue says in her thing, mindset is everything. It really is with new franchisees. It's such attitude, positive attitude compared to negative attitude. It's just world of difference. So how do you go about conditioning that in someone?
Yeah, so I mean, affirmations are a part of it.
Yeah.
But you can't rely on affirmations alone. I think the really pivotal part is not just to sort of recite affirmations, so to speak, but really be invested and understand why it's so important. Because there's no point doing affirmations in the morning, but then throughout the day you're just going, oh bloody hell, that thing happened, or oh, they cut me off, how could they have done that, in the car, in the traffic, or oh, my co-worker's talking too loudly, oh bloody hell, that sort of thing. It's about understanding the absolute critical connection between your thinking that then causes you to feel a certain way and causes you to act in a certain way, and that's going to be the pathway of how you're achieving every result, whether it be positive or negative result in your life. And so if you're acutely aware of that thinking, and I tell a story with my clients, about this, I think it was like a American Cherokee Indian tale or something like that, where the wise tribal chief was talking to the grandkids around the campfire about these two wolves. You've got two wolves on your shoulders. One is the positive, the white wolf, and one's the negative, the black wolf. And he's asking the kids, so which one wins in the battle for your attention? And they're like, oh, I don't know. And so the grandfather says, well, it's the one you feed, of course. So if you're feeding negativity constantly, you're going to attract more of it.
Yeah.
And you're going to act more in line with that thought, and then you're going to have bad feeling, and then it's going to either cause you to act in a way that's not in line with your goals, or it's actually going to cause you to not act on something that you really want to achieve. So
I think everyone listening to that can relate it, because I think more people, we'd like to think more people are more positive than negative, but I think generally most people are more negative, with pressures or finance, whatever it is, right?
So we're programmed to be that way.
Yeah.
It's part of our survival.
Yeah.
Our chemistry is that, we look at the environment and take in through our, 5 senses what's happening, and we're looking for threats to keep us safe. And we don't want to fail because we could die, we get eaten, etc. But we don't need to have that hyper awareness now. And so when we can detach from that pathway between thinking and immediately feeling something, to go thinking and observe that thought and go, oh, that's interesting. Now I'm going to choose how I respond in a way that helps me achieve what I'm trying to achieve. That's what we try to get people to be.
Trying to catch yourself in that. Exactly. It's like with meditation or something, right? You're trying to, when you first start it, you just can't do it. Then after a while, you do catch yourself, and that's just the thought, and let it go by. So
yeah, exactly.
That catching, that's the bloody. Yeah. Sounds it sounds easy, but as you would know,
it takes repetition.
It takes repetition,
and support. Yeah. And a good hack that my coach Sue now has taught me is, because you're acutely aware of the importance of your thinking, if you observe your thoughts and go, okay, I'm going to choose to think more positively, and a negative thought comes into your mind, before it actually takes root, you say after it, and that's just the way I like it.
Right.
And so, oh, how are you going today, Joel? Oh, not bad. This happened, that happened, and that's just the way I like it. It catches you and go, actually, it doesn't sound right when I say it like that. So maybe that's not a good thought to either speak or think. Yeah. Because words have power, obviously. I don't know, 4 times, 10 times, whatever it is. If you say something, it has a lot, even more power than just thinking it. Yeah.
I think the things you said before at the start, like even just having someone get your goals ahead of you, don't write it down. Not a lot of people do it. And they always say you should write your goals down, and I don't know what the stats say, but I think writing your goals down, you're more likely to achieve it than
100%.
Not. And everyone's got goals, everyone's got wishes and wants they want to do, right?
No.
Okay. No. Right.
So, I spoke to a client last week at the end of our 4-week program. Yeah. And prior to the program, she didn't have any goals for her personal life.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of people out there that they're just cruising. Yeah. And life's okay. Yeah. It's pretty good. But they don't know what they can actually achieve if they actually set a few goals for themselves, chunked it down into actionable steps that they could take tomorrow and the day after. worked out what was holding him back, and then just took action. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And it sounds so simple, but it's not easy, and that's why working with a life coach is an important thing.
Yeah, you do need someone. There's no way, I don't think anyone could do it by themselves. I think just getting out, as you said, if you don't even have a goal or you're a bit directionless, having someone like yourself to actually get that out of you, I think you need it. A lot of people would need it. And the accountability side, I think, is so important, and having that weekly check-in with yourself. And, when you're paying for something as well, you're going to give it a lot more effort, I would hope you would.
Absolutely.
So I think that really helps as well.
Yeah, a good example of that with Jim's guy that I'm coaching at the moment. We talked about goals. That's lesson one. Thinking about what you really, really want in life, in personal and professional. And his professional goal was really just to replace his previous income, for his franchise.
Yep.
And that was something like, I don't know, it was under 100,000. And I talked to him about, okay, well, is that something that is worth? Or we talk about having worthy goals, because we sort of say, everybody gets the same amount of time. It's 1,440 minutes in a day. And we use that, we spend it on what we do every day. So we're giving up our life, effectively, through our time. So is that goal worthy of giving up your life for? And I encourage him to think bigger, because if he's thinking he can earn 100,000, he's obviously worked out that, he can achieve that. So I said, mate, you don't need life coaching if that's all you want to achieve. I said, what if you could achieve 300, 400,000? And he's like, wow, yeah, that would be really inspiring. And I said, well, that's what you need to do to get an inspiring goal. And you might not hit it. You might not hit it in the first year or 2 years. But, if you don't aim high, you won't hit, I guess, something that if you aimed lower, you wouldn't achieve it. So, what I say to clients is, and this is a saying that I love, it's most people, their problem isn't that they aim high and miss, it's that they aim low and hit, and or settle for much less. So really getting them to think bigger about their goals and what they can do in business helps them get really inspired then. And that's really what's then important for when it gets hard in the first week, 2 weeks, months, finding it hard to get clients, leads, complaints, things like that. To do things, especially if they're transitioning to be a business owner for the first time, that are not natural for them, like going up and talking to clients and door knocking, putting yourself out there. It's tough for some people that haven't done that. And so, getting into a Jim's franchise, it's not just about being great at mowing, or cleaning or whatever it is. It's sales and marketing as well, and really thinking like a business owner. Yeah,
that's a great point. And do you want to just talk now quickly about the service you offer? So is it obviously, is it a package, or how? Like, obviously it can be as long as people need it for. But generally, what is the service offering you provide, and how long does it sort of go for, and what do people need to do?
Our signature program is our 12-week program. So that's 12 weeks of weekly coaching. And we get people to think about, obviously, their goals. That's really the important part. Their beliefs, understand that their part in creating their goals, and we talk about the power of responsibility. And we get them to understand their mind and how it works. You've got a conscious mind and a subconscious mind, and our subconscious mind's running the show, basically, and most of the time we don't even realise it. And so we're doing things that we don't even know we're doing at the time, a lot of the time, and getting results that we don't want to get, but we don't understand why. And it's because our subconscious mind, with all those limiting beliefs and paradigms, etc., is running around telling us what we can and can't achieve. And then we talk about self-image and how to change. So that's our 12-week program, and that's really for sustainable, repetitive conditioning, if you like, or practice to really shift and make big shifts and redesign your life, basically. And we then have a 6-month program, or a 24-week and a 36-week program. And the 36-week program actually, or the 24-week program builds on the 12-week program. And so does the next program after that, the 36-week program. The 36-week program then brings in leadership. So now that you've mastered yourself, how do you lead from the front, especially great for business owners? We're all leaders, right, in our life a lot of the time, in our families, communities, etc. But this is really powerful for people who want to be real leaders in their life.
And obviously this is can be done by Zoom. You can do this anywhere.
Absolutely anywhere.
Anywhere.
Yeah, anywhere with anyone. And then with gyms, we've got a 4-week program, which is a bit of a teaser. It's a taster, but it's still very powerful and allows people to really get that mindset right when you're starting a new business.
It's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. It's absolutely, like, I mean, I've been interviewing a lot of franchisees, and the ones who do well, it's not because they're brighter or smarter, it's because they've got a bloody good attitude.
Yeah.
It's simply that. It's not that they're harder working or,
No.
more of a business guru or whatever. It's literally the mindset and the attitude is
Yeah.
the difference you get from the real successful people.
100%, yeah. I love a quote that was by Henry Ford. He said, "Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right." And so that's just a great quote that really exemplifies the power of your mindset. That if you think you can't, then you probably won't even try.
Yeah.
And we know it's the start that stops most people.
And I think I agree, and I think now it's just so much because obviously there's so much social media news with negative this and that, and so much distractions. All right, I think there'll be a lot of people just go aimlessly cruising because it's so easy to be comfortable now, and there's no real clarity what they want. I think just even coming to you guys alone to help get people actually know what they actually truly want is a really important thing. I think it's something that's any franchisee or anyone listening to this needs this, in my opinion. I'm glad I asked you a few of these questions because I'm sort of getting the sense of what you guys really do.
Right.
And I think it's anyone, in my opinion, could use this. So I think the relationship stuff's really important. As you said, family, mindset, business, all this sort of stuff. And the great thing with them using you as well, from your business background, is you've got so many years of experience as well, but you've talked to a lot of people, you've done it yourself. I think it's just a really good resource to use yourself and obviously Sue with it. I think it just can't hurt anyone.
Absolutely, yeah. I think one thing that you mentioned there is, all facets of life. So we run this exercise called the Wheel of Life. A lot of coaches use it. We've gymified it.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, they might be successful in business, but everything else is falling down around them, right? Their relationships, their marriage, their health, fitness, have no hobbies, etc. And they, lo and behold, burn out or, have real health problems. And so the Wheel of Life gets you to think, okay, well, how happy am I in my love and romance, my health, my business, my finances, love, my lifestyle, physical environment, fun and recreation. And we get them to rate it between 1 and 10. And then when they do that, and then we go around and go, okay, well, you've rated that a 4. What does a 10 look like? What would just make you go, hell yeah, I'm loving life in this area? And once they finish that exercise, we say, well, so what would you like to improve? Often they want to improve everything at the same time, and obviously you need to make sure you focus and improve things. But what's the most important thing to you? And some people don't even know that, right? And so I say, well, what of these areas, if it disappeared tomorrow, would significantly impact your happiness and your life? And then they start to think, oh, what about my health? What about my family, my relationships? And then we can set goals around those.
And you need people like yourself and Sue and life coaches to get that out of you, because a lot of people think it sounds simple. Like they might be listening to this, I know that, but you really don't. I reckon most people have been honest with themselves wouldn't know, right? And I just think just getting clarity around the whole thing, and then it's absolute no-brainer. So with what you do as well, you don't have to name any names, but is there like a good story that comes to mind from the client with yourself? Without giving away too much personal information, but who's come through, didn't know what this was all about, but they knew they needed help, and they've come and engaged you, and then you've seen them, come through your program. Yeah.
So I mentioned the client I was dealing with the other day. So she didn't have any personal goals, and this just warms my heart when I sort of hear the impact that you're able to make with somebody. Didn't have any personal goals and really wanted to work on her health. Never set goals for herself and didn't realise, that they actually could, and thought that life was pretty okay. But, and so I did a post-program sort of interview with her to see, what's changed. And she'd never exercised, had wanted to lose weight for a while, had diabetes in the family, and was addicted to lollies and, wanting to lose weight and not being able to achieve it and not knowing how to get there. And so I helped her set some pretty challenging goals, but not sort of as much as I would have hoped for, maybe big goals, but goals that were big enough for her to realise that she could actually start to change and make a momentum. And so over the 4 weeks, she said, I can't believe how much my mindset has changed. And, so she's actually exercising daily now. She's never exercised before. Exercising daily, cut back, and is still working on reducing the amount of lollies she eats, and is starting to see the scales shift. And I could just see the happiness and energy in her voice when she was talking about it compared to when I spoke to her initially before the program started. The shift in her, she was sort of more energy, brighter. She was saying that her sleep quality's improved. She's getting more sleep, not having as many naps in the afternoons, etc. And then it's actually translated through to her work life. So the exercise that we do about gratitude and focusing on wins, she's actually brought into her team meetings at work because she's a team leader. And she's using those to change the mood in her team, engage them more and get them thinking more positively. And, when I hear about that, not just helping a singular person, but then they're helping others, that really that's a fantastic feeling.
It's a great story, and you can just hear, like, if you're listening to this and thinking, well, what's the value you place in your health, your work, your mindset? People would pay a fortune for this sort of stuff, right? And they can all do it with the help of yourself. And I think everyone, I know this is not a plug. I know this is a plug for gyms, but I think everyone could use this. Like when you say to people, "What do you truly want?" and as you said, people don't know, and they know they want more. Like, you do need someone to help you. And if you're embarrassed to go to a friend or family, I think someone like yourself, as we were saying earlier, like, it's just that's your skill and your profession.
Yeah.
I think even the beauty of someone using you is because you've gone through it yourself, so you know the impact that you made on it yourself.
Absolutely.
So people are dealing with someone with first-hand experience, gone through the training, and you've already doing it with multiple people. So there's a lot of different situations which you've already aware of. You'll have a lot of good answers as well. And I think it's something moving forward in the future. More and more people are going to want to use something like this. I think it's something a bit newer that people need to get their head around a bit still. I think with just coaching. Yeah. But I think you have a coaching in so many different aspects of your life. Sport. You have a personal trainer. Where's the coach for your mind?
Yeah, so. And like you say, anyone can use it, and it doesn't matter how big or small your goals are. Like, success is measured differently if you're a multi-millionaire or if you're me, of Joe Blow or anyone on the street. It's all relative. So we help people understand what their goals are relative to them. And going back to that example of that client, another big shift was that I've always seen themselves as somebody who is shy and introverted, and so that's always held them back from a career perspective. Yeah. And now they've put their hand up to volunteer to speak at things like inductions, for new team members, to induct new team members. And that's something they'd never have considered before because they didn't have the self-confidence. Yeah. And they didn't think that they could. And so getting them to think, okay, what's the example of how to change, what's occurring at the moment in a situation in my life that I want to change, and what am I doing versus what do I need to change to be? And then helping them realise, well, you can actually do that. You can, and it's not about, being inauthentic, because we're all capable of anything that we set our minds to. It's just a case of we haven't developed that capability yet, but it doesn't define us. Tomorrow's a new day and we can start again. And, even if we fail, we just get up and try again and learn from it, and we'll get to our goals eventually.
There you go. So, James, thank you very much for your sharing your story and what you can do. I think if you're listening to this, obviously they can get in touch with yourself or Sue. And the great thing about it is anyone, franchisees especially, it doesn't matter where you are, you can engage you guys. And
absolutely.
Is it like a 4-week program, the offer for gyms franchisees, or what's the offer for?
Yeah, so there's a 4-week program that we're offering to gyms franchisees at the moment. It is $660, which is a fantastic discount. But we really want to get the benefits out there to as many people as possible so that we can spread the word and the benefits.
I think it's something that everyone could use. I'll keep repeating myself, but I think a lot of people. I think the hardest thing sometimes is people admitting they need help in this area. So if half the battle, I think just engaging, inquiring with you guys almost in a way to go down that path. But what cost do you put on your health and your relationships and what you could do? You know what I mean? It's a very, very good deal.
Yeah.
So
the other thing I would say is that it's an easy deal to take up as well. But you don't have to commit straight away. So we offer what we call a success organising session or an SOS session, and it's a 30-minute confidential, complimentary consultation, 3 C's, where we talk to you about what your goals are, what some of the challenges you've faced into, and what's been holding you back, so that you got that awareness, and help you with some basic strategies as to how you could change, and then it's up to you as to whether or not you want to continue working with us or go with some of those tips and play on from there.
Oh, it's a no-brainer to take it up. So people click in the link 131546 or just via the website. But that's a no-brainer. Yeah. You'd be an idiot not to do it.
100%.
Yeah. Thank you very much, James, for your time
Joel.
today, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this progresses. And I think it's a really big industry that you can make a massive impact with. And it's great to hear it helped you, and you've got a great story. And please, if you're relating to this, just take action. Complimentary session, absolute no-brainer. So thanks for today.
Thanks. Cheers.
Bye.